Hey family, Reginald Martin here of Kemetic, Sacred Alchemy, and I wanted to talk today about know thyself. So what does that mean? And in the ancient Kemetic terms, that was one of the foundational principles, that really sifted down through us, through the Greeks and everybody else, know thyself. And it is really an axiom about really knowing us, knowing who you are at your essence, because we think about that in terms of a lot of times in psychological instances, that we know ourselves. But, the ancients when they were talking about these ideas, they were always coming from the perspective of the soul, okay? And the soul being the primary entity, the primary actor in the ancient text, and everything. So the soul was always primary, not the physical body. The physical body was more like a vehicle, okay? And even in the symbolism, and I like to go to the symbolism because a lot of times you just get a lot more depth with it. When it talks about in Christianity, we've always heard the idea of Christ as King. Jesus is King. Christ is Lord. And those terms, we worship them, and we worship the idea, about Jesus and Jesus as Christ, being all powerful. But in reality, these were terms that were supposed to be meant for us, and the Christ being an aspect of who we are. It is really like a state of being. And if you go to the glyph for Osiris, that's really where you get that idea of Christ being king or Lord, okay? And if you see the glyph for Osiris, the hieroglyph for Osiris, you'll see that it is a throne and an eye, okay? And just those two main things about that glyph. And of course, the eye is connected to just seeing or awareness, okay? Not actually seeing, but being aware. And being aware of who you are, okay, as a soul. And when you do have that awareness, then you're able to sit on the throne and be Lord or master over your emotional state, okay? Which a lot of times we deal with a lot of fears and stuff, family. And that's one of the things that when we incarnate here on earth to do is we incarnate to really learn as gods and goddesses in training. We're learning that we are the master of over our reality, that we have the ability to create our reality. So when you become Lord and master over your emotions and your fears, then you're able to stay balanced and at peace, living with in context of Ma'at. So know thyself really comes down to you knowing that you are a soul having a human experience and that you have the ability to create. And again, if you go back to the symbolism of Osiris, which is Osiris represents he's the personification of the idea of the soul while physical, okay, while in the physical. So you see one of his symbols, or how he's represented a lot of times, he has one leg, which basically means he's mummified, but his hands are free, okay? And of course, symbolically, that says when the hands are free, that this entity and aspect has the ability to create, to build, to do things, it can manipulate things, okay? And that's one of the meanings, the deeper meanings of the hands being free. So when you're talking about our ability, that really comes back to, because he's an archetype for us, and he's an archetype for the ability of us to become Lord and Master. There was a term that was used for him in ancient times called the Neb Karest, okay, or Lord Christ. That's where that idea comes from, okay? So these, again, just these ideas that we worshiped, they were really about us, and about our power. So when you truly get into the idea of know thyself, it's knowing that you are powerful in this realm of existence, in this realm that we call Earth. You as a soul have the power to create, So know thyself takes on a whole nother level of meaning and power, beyond just, knowing yourself psychologically, That's important too, but the idea of you and your power on this plane is paramount, and we forget, So again, going to the symbolism, that's really what the crucifixion was about, okay? When we're talking about from the perspective of the soul is actually what was crucified, but it wasn't a physical death. With the way Christianity teaches it, they reverse the idea that it was a physical person, a physical being that died on the cross and went to heaven, or was, I guess prepared to go to heaven because he resurrected. But all of it's reversed when you make it about a physical person. The crucifixion the cross was actually about the soul crossing into the physical realm from the metaphysical, okay? And the death was the idea that the soul forgot its omnipotent awareness once it crossed into the physical, okay? So again, that when you understand from the ancient perspective that the soul is primary, these ideas take on a whole nother level of meaning and a different type of meaning. And they start to really make more sense because they start to connect to each other in different ways. You end up being able to connect them intuitively in a lot of ways, okay? So again, know thyself is about knowing who you are as a soul having a human experience. When you're going through your difficulties, when you recognize that you are a God in training, then you don't get lost in the idea, well, maybe I'm cursed, maybe God is punishing me. When you have that outside, that belief in that external God who does choose people, well, maybe I'm not one of the chosen people today, So once you have that, flip that belief to understanding that it's an internal aspect of yourself, it becomes a lot more empowering for you, okay? So it's really important to recognize that you are the God or goddess that's in training. That's you have to know that about yourself, and you're learning to be Lord and King or Queen over your emotions. Okay, let's take another layer of symbolism of the miracle of Jesus walking on water. Well, in ancient times, water, one aspect of it was to symbolize emotions. And when Jesus was in the storm and walking on the water, that was saying that this aspect of us has the ability to be Lord and Master over our emotions. So where we worship or think of it as a miracle, in actuality, it's symbolic of our ability to become Lord and Master over our emotions, to know thyself as a soul, and the ability to create, okay? So a lot of those things, family, that we worshiped is just, they sound fantastical, you know, but we didn't question them because we were just told to believe, and, you know, it was against the rules to question anyway. But when you get into the esoteric ideas and the esoteric teachings that are underneath these exoteric ideas, then you find that there's a lot more empowering ideas that you're able to extract from these stories. The stories, family, are about us, each of us, not one special man or God man above all. It's about all of us, you know. It's aspects of humanity. It's aspects of us as souls having a human experience. We have the ability in our storms to walk on water. We have the ability to be Lord and Master over our emotions when the circumstances are difficult, you know. And believe me, whew, brother know all about that. But, you know, but it's a normal aspect of life, you know, that we go through cycles, you know. It doesn't mean that we're being cursed, you know, or that God is against us, you know, as we were taught. It just means that the cycle might be a down cycle that you have to work through, okay? And energy just goes in cycles. And again, another way that was represented was Osiris had the horns on his head. That someone in the physical was just going through the cycles of time, okay? And cycles, and these cycles, they spiral, you know? So you kind of run into the same things, but they might have more energy if you don't reconcile them the first time around. You're going to go through a cycle where you're going to come back around to it again. That's just the way it is. You know, not punishment or anything like that. So family, that's it. So know thyself, you know. Man, I got to go through trying to walk around some mud and stuff here. But know thyself, and, you know that you are gods and goddesses in training. You are an aspect of the Creator. So you are not, when you're going through difficult times, get that out of your head that you might be cursed, or that you might be being punished. God is not going to punish itself. God is not going to curse itself. So know that you are an aspect on the leading edge of the creation that you are, okay? And you are an aspect of that Creator experiencing itself, okay? All right, family, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on my walk. You guys have an amazing day, and I will talk with y'all later, okay? Reginald Martin, out.